Hi everyone, and welcome back to Art with Mrs. S. Today we're going to be making a gumball machine, and I have a couple pieces of paper here to get started. So I have this black square or rectangle that I'm not going to do anything on, so I can kind of set that to the side. I have gray, red, and white construction paper to build this gumball machine. So what I'd like you to do is get something to draw with. I'm going to use a marker so you can see it, but you can use anything you'd like. Now I'm going to go ahead and start with the smaller piece, the gray, and all you're going to do, we're going to start out simple. You're going to go from the left side all the way to the right, and that'll be the first line that we'll cut, and that's going to be the bottom of your gumball machine. Somewhere on this paper, I'd also like you to draw a small circle about the size of a quarter. And I'm also going to draw a rectangle. And this rectangle is going to be where the quarter would go on my gumball machine, or the crank. So I could even draw, if I want to go ahead and draw right now, I'm going to say that my gumball is going to cost 25, so 25, and then a cent sign, 25 cents. And I can even add, a little crank, or I can add a little place where my quarter would go. Really, really easy, but you don't have to add all those things yet. Something just like that. I'm not going to cut anything out yet, so I'm just going to set that off to the side. And my next one here, I'm going to do the red. The red's really important because that's going to be the bottom or the base of my gumball machine. To get this kind of made really quickly, I'm going to go ahead and draw two diagonal lines going all the way from the top to the bottom. So again, all the way from the top and to the bottom. Those two slanted or diagonal. They don't meet together, so I didn't make a triangle. I just have those two diagonal lines. And then somewhere on the side of that, so not on top of there, I'm going to draw a half or a semicircle. And that's going to be the lid to my gumball machine. That's all I need for red, so I can set that to the side. And the last thing I'm going to draw today is a big white circle, and that's all you need for this white paper. Circles can be kind of hard or kind of tricky, so just do your best. I'm going to start kind of towards the top, go out almost until I touch the outside, down, around until I go almost all the way to the right side, and back up. And you could even see my circle is not perfect, but it's not teeny tiny. Make a nice big circle. Now that we have all the parts that we need, it's time to start cutting. I'm going to cut out the white piece first, but you can start somewhere else. When I cut out circles, always remember to cut out and away. And notice I also turn my paper. So I'm never cutting towards myself. My hand is always going the same way. It's straight and out, so that I'm not turning it all kind of strange and awkward. And that can really make it challenging or hard to cut stuff out. You don't need the white for anything else, so once you have that nice circle, you can get rid of your white scrap paper. So I'm kind of working backwards. I'm going to go to that red piece of paper I had. This one should be a lot easier to cut. I'm cutting once on a diagonal line, twice on a diagonal line, and remember I had that half circle or semicircle with the red too. Don't forget that. And I'm going to chomp, chomp, chomp all around. So now I'm up to 3 pieces of paper. I have my semicircle, I have my 2 diagonal lines that kind of made a trapezoid, and then that circle. The last piece I'm going to cut today is the gray paper, and this is where we started. Remember, we went left to right, horizontal all the way across. I'm just going to cut that piece. It's going to be a long, skinny rectangle. I also drew that circle about the size of a quarter. Remember to turn your paper. If it's a little bigger or a little smaller than that, it'll still work. If you really messed up or you cut it and it doesn't look right, you should have plenty of paper to try again. And the last one that we did second was this rectangle. Now I can get rid of my gray. So here are all my parts. And I have to kind of piece this together like a puzzle. So So let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and glue on that white circle to that red piece. You don't have to do it all the way at the top. Notice that that is down here. And then I also have this lid, that half circle that's gonna go on the top. The gray circle is gonna go on top of there. I'll slide this up so you can see. There's a gray rectangle for the bottom. I also have where that quarter or that money goes into my gumball machine. And if you remember, we had that black piece I gave you. That's gonna be where our gumball would come out of. So I kind of have a lot going on here, but I'm going to start gluing. So I have my glue stick here. And I'll glue all these parts and pieces on so that you can see all of this gumball machine put together. Hopefully you made your circle nice and big because we're going to add in some gumballs today if we have time. If not, we'll wait till next art class. Glue that down. I'll lift and glue. When you have these smaller pieces, it's nice to flip them over and stick. And all I should have left is this big old circle. And there you have it. I'm going to turn this on its side so you can see it all put together. So you should have a red semicircle lid, a gray circle to go on top of there and kind of turn that like a screw. A white large circle, a gray rectangle, a black rectangle, and then a long skinny gray rectangle, and then you have your red for the bottom of your gumball machine. When you get to this point, this is your checkpoint. This is always a great time to put your name on the back. So I could even write Mrs. S so that I don't lose this. It's gonna have to go somewhere to dry. Flip it back over, and now we are ready to add some paint for today. Thanks for joining me. I can't wait to see all of your gumball machines.